Yeah, let's get started. So I got this suggestion from Thailinda this morning, which is really cool. I really appreciate all your suggestions, by the way, um, about getting some Easter eggs. And she designed this one that we're going to be using sort of as inspiration. But there could be, and I think this is a really nice design, actually, because it's hard to come up with a design that is like kind of effortlessly simple, but like nice and clean. And I think this one pretty much accomplishes that. So I think this is a really good starting point. And then in the comments, there are a lot of kind of interesting things to see. Like Ralph has been posting a few Easter egg. Hi Zig, welcome. The I was saying that Ralph has been posting a few really interesting designs, and so you can see his projects over here. Here's a little preview. So those are really cool. And then I also want to say that if you look at the Cuttle templates, let's go to templates. We have a few Easter designs right now. So we got this baby chick and the Easter bunny and the Easter basket. Here's Ralph's design too. But I think there are like places to go with this particular one, and I wanted to explore those. So I think let's get started. So I have a blank project here. I guess I'm gonna rename it. Let's call it the Easter egg. We'll call it a tag or an ornament. Let's call it an ornament. And so I'm gonna start with, we need an egg. That's my starting point. I just want the egg outline. That sort of follows the pattern of other things I've done in the past, where I start with a shape. Although I'm not gonna be making a lot of changes on that shape, I just want the outline. And the easiest way I think to find it is to grab that egg emoji. So I'm gonna grab the emoji and I'm gonna place it on the origin. And that's just like a generic emoji, but like if I click here, then I can like choose the egg one. So there are a few egg. So I'm gonna grab these one. And I don't want all of those stuff. I don't want all the stuff in the middle. I just want the outline. This is just like my lazy, quick, easy way to get an egg outline. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna apply this modifier that removes all the holes. So the remove holes modifier. It's all the way down here. So that removes all the holes from the egg. And I want to get it to a sort of rough size. I think like about 3 inches is a good scale. So I'm going to make it 3 inches tall. And I don't necessarily want this emoji here to be kind of messing with my thing. So, because someone could potentially get confused or change it. Let's go back to that egg one. So I'm actually gonna convert all of these to paths. So if I select it and I go to edit, there's an option down here that it's called convert to paths. Not to be confused with the one below called create path. That does something a little different. So we want the convert to paths. And so that one just turns whatever I had into a single path. We can see it here. It's just a bunch of anchors. And that's just what I want. So I have my egg outline. I don't want to fill on it. I just want it to have a stroke. And let's make it red. So I'll be using the red thing quite a bit. So that's my starting point. I want an egg outline. I'm just going to call it the egg shape here, or just the shape. And let's create a new component. And the first thing I want to do is to sort of have the back. I might refer to this as the inspiration here. So the back layer has the hole to hang it. So let's call it the back simply. So that's kind of like my first operation on the egg outline. So I'm gonna grab my shape, place it on the canvas, and then I simply want it to have a hole here. So a hole is simply a circle I'm gonna grab a circle. We've been doing these circles 1.19 inches. That seems to be sufficient. I'm gonna just place it towards the top here. This all can be changed later, but like I'm just gonna kind of block the design in first. And then I want to start with the decoration. Like if we look at the inspiration here, the decoration in the front is just the inside outline and then these little squiggles or little mountain shapes. So I'm going to create a new component. I'm going to call it decoration. I'm intentionally replacing the intentionally placing the decoration in a separate component because we might want to change it. I want to give you the sort of ability to change it. So in that component, I'm going to place the shape again. And so I want to apply a little operation here. So I want to give that shape the stroke, but instead of the hairline, I'm going to uncheck that. I want it to have some thickness. And looking at other thicknesses I've seen is 0.15. And very importantly here, we want that stroke to be on the inside part of the line. That is to say, like if I place the back here, you'll see that outline for the back. And so if the stroke is outside, if the stroke is as the default is in the middle, then it's going to be peeking out a bit. So we want it to be inside. So let's go back to that. And so we're going to change this alignment here to be inner. So you'll see how now that is inside of the outline. So when we cut both pieces, they're going to be lined up. So we got our inner alignment. I just had the back here for reference. I'm just going to delete it. Let's make these red. And so I'm going to start with a little slightly simpler decoration just to get moving. So instead of the squiggles, I'm just going to do straight lines. So I could use that simple line component. And I just want to make it straight. When I'm moving this light component, if I hold the shift key while moving it, you'll see that it's going to snap to horizontal. It gives me this kind of guide. And so I can make it horizontal. That's good. That's good for now. And then I'm going to grab another line, put it at the bottom. And once again, hold the shift key while I'm moving things to make it snap to horizontal. This is sufficient. And I want this line to also be a stroke, to have a width. And let's go back to that 0.15. Let's make it red, because I'm going to be applying flatten to these. So I want it to be all the same color. So same business here, red, 1.5. And here went just a little past that edge. So I should hold the shift key so it remains horizontal. So super basic, just to get going. And what I want to do with this situation is I want to flatten it. So I'm going to select everything. I want to select the shape and the lines, go to modify, and then apply that flatten modifier. So what flatten does, if I select the stroke result, is that it joins everything that is the same color gets joined. And the next step here is to add the name or the text. So I'm going to create a new component. This one I'm going to call the front, because that is going to be, or the front layer. That is going to be the front layer. And the front layer is basically going to have the decoration. And then here's where I want to apply here's where I want to put that name in the middle. So let's look at it again for inspiration. Yeah, there we go. So we got the name. So I'm going to do the connected text as usual. So search for connected, place it right on the center. I wanna let's start with a random name, Liam. I usually want to size the name to fit inside of the thing, like so. So when we apply that fit within modifier, so it grows into it. Let's make it also red, just to be consistent. And so what we want to do here is have a way in which whenever we type any name, it's always fitting within the egg. So the way to do that is to select both things and then go to modify, and then there's that modifier at the bottom here called fit within. And so what fit within does is whenever I change here the text, you'll see how it just adapts to the container. So this is the very convenient way to do it. I want to do a couple of things. I want to change the font. I found this one called Cookie. It's a little closer to this one. And then the other thing I want to do is that fit within has an option to scale it up a tiny bit. So it overlaps the outside edges. So I'm going to increase it to, I don't know, 105%. So you see, the more I increase it, the more it overlaps the outside edges. So 105 seems like a good, that looks good. And then maybe I'll thicken it a tiny bit. I think that font could use a little thickening. Cool. Hopefully I'm not moving terribly fast. But okay, so at this point, one thing we want to do is definitely extract these as a parameter, the text. So when I click the three dots, extract it as parameter. Let's move that parameter to project. So now whenever I change these, it's gonna do the thing. And now we wanna apply the treatment to the way the text is joined to that outline. And so I feel like here I could like simply apply that Weld and Score. So I'm gonna select it and apply the Weld and Score here at the bottom. Still blocking it. So Weld and Score. And this is good. I feel like we could call it a day here. Like we have like pretty much what we needed. But I think it'd be nice to go a little step further. Because what happens is that I think often people like the Weld and Score because you end up with you end up with like having a little outline here that makes the text pop out a little bit. But people have been requesting this treatment idea. So here, this is the football bag tag. And with this one, you have this option where like you can use either the Weld and Score or you can like have separate pieces for people that don't necessarily want to paint and they just want to cut it out of different color acrylics or things like that. So I think we should add that to this one. I think that would be a nice improvement. So that particular modifier is not built in, but we can actually go in and grab it from the football bag tag. And I wanted to show you that. So we want to essentially copy this treatment business. So I'm here in the football bag tag. I'm going to open it in the Cuttle editor. And I don't necessarily I don't need to copy the project. I simply want to grab that modifier. So if I go to modify, you'll see, select that. If I go to modify, you'll see that there is an option here, use treatment, which is kind of specific to this template. And that one doesn't exist on a blank one. So if you see here, if I go to modify all the way to the bottom, that modifier is not there. So I want to sort of bring it in to my template from this one. And if I were to, if I look at it here, this is where it's being used. If I were to copy these as sys, it would come in with all of these parameters, but I don't want that. I just want the modifier. So like the quick way to do it is I'm just gonna get a circle, apply that use treatment modifier, and then I'm just gonna copy that. So I'm gonna go to edit, copy, or Command C. I'm gonna move over to my other, the ones we're working on. I'm just gonna paste it in a different component. And now if I go here and see the modifier menu, that use treatment modifier is there. So I just kind of like grabbed it over. Maybe it could be better. There could be a better way to like grab those, but copy and paste seems to do the trick. So that means that instead of Weld and Score here, I'm just going to delete that. Instead of that, I'm going to apply that use treatment modifier. So I'm going to select it again. Here, sorry, I went too fast there. I deleted Weld and Score from here. So it returns it to the base. I'm going to select now the text and the outline, and I'm going to go to use treatment. So I'm going to go to modify and then select the use treatment. So use treatment essentially is like Weld and Score. So that is taken care of, plus the additional ability to select the treatment. So instead of score, it could be separate pieces. And so kind of like auto-magically, we get this like ability to separate them, which is neat. I really love it. It separates the pieces and then it maintains these little cuts on the side. So even if I change the text, then I can get that that separation. Or I could just keep it as a score. So yeah, this is nice. The next thing I want to do is that I want that use treatment to the options there to be available. So I can select it, and then instead of keeping this selector here, I can like move it to the project parameters. So I can click on the three dots, extract that as a parameter, and then actually move it to the project. So now it's always there. So if I were to go to the README to create, and add a component right there, which one do I guess this is yeah. Then I have that particular thing available. So, all right. So let's see. Did I name it here? So I have the decoration. I wanted this one to be called the front layer. There are a lot of niceties we can add. Like if we go look at the football tag, then there are all these different things like the size, the font, and all of that. So I think that's a lot of like grunt work in a way, but like let's just do. I'm gonna add one so you have an idea how to add it. But I might just add that later after the live stream, and I will publish this template because I actually wanted to show you more things about changing the decorations. So, one obvious one that we could add is the ability to change the font. So I simply go to connected text, and then there's the font option here. So click on the three dots, extract this parameter. So now I get that font right there, and I'm gonna move the parameter to the project. So that's a good one to have, the ability to change. Another that could be nice to add is the size of the hole over here. But for now, let's give it like a sort of finishing touch. So often the way we present it is that we have a sort of preview here, and then we have a cut layer. A cut component. So let's create that cut component. So I'm going to create a component called cut. And the thing we've been using often is this one called auto layout. So I'm going to search for auto, this one right here, auto layout. I'm going to place it there. And with auto layout, here in the section called pieces, here on the right, I can simply delete the existing ones, and I can type the ones that I want to be included. So I want the front layer for sure. I can just start typing and select the one that appears. And I've separated with comma, and then I also want the back. Let's Press play. And so the beauty of this one is that it just adds those pieces there. And if any of those pieces were to change, it also includes that change. So for example, if we change the treatment to separate pieces, then that's going to work. And then on the README, we can always add that component, which is the cut. So let's say when people are doing changes here, they can see what it looks like in this preview, and then the thing that gets downloaded is whatever has the little arrow down here when you hit the download SVG button, so I think that kind of presents the template, like makes it usable. I think the next thing I wanted to cover was, changing, adding different decorations. I think there are multiple ways of doing these, but like let's try one. So in this decoration component, one thing I could do is duplicate the thing that I have. I'm just gonna call this one lines. So if I just duplicate this entire thing, I'm gonna right click and hit duplicate. Now I can make changes to the copy. So I'm gonna hide one, the lines, and I'm gonna call this one squiggles. So if I change this one, let's just kind of start from scratch. I'm gonna delete the flatten. Then I can say change these lines, just delete the lines. And then add this. I'm gonna try and add this kind of mountain-like squiggles on the thing. So one way I can do it is that I can use the pen tool, and I'm gonna do like a simple squiggle here, just like that. And I want this one to be mirrored, to be like more precise. I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna go to modify. There is this mirror repeat. That one just mirrors it across the center line. And then if I make any changes here, you can see how the mirrored copy responds. And I'm going to do the same for the bottom. I'm going to add like something like this. When I'm done, I can click this one. I'm going to mirror that one as well. And then the same way I did the previous one, I made these particular ones into having a non-hairline stroke. Let's use the same dimension here. Let's make it red so it gets joined. Same with that one. Let's make it red so it gets joined. Not hairline. Let's make it 1.5. And then if I want to make any changes here, I can always double click into the path. Too far. And then I can like sort of adjust it so it looks sort of the way I want it. And when I'm done with these, I definitely want to apply the flatten modifier to all of those. So because the way we structure the template uses this decoration component, now the front layer, should have that. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh yeah, I want to turn this to stroke result. So now the front layer has that same treatment. And then perhaps we would want to add like a way to, change from one decoration to the other. I think I've covered that in other things. I don't know, maybe I don't like the way the L gets to this squiggle here and then it stops growing. So maybe I do want to change that. So I'm gonna go back here to the decoration and then just move it up. And then let's see. Yeah. So I think I kind of fixes it. So that's one way to add decoration to it. You can kind of change the squiggles, do different things. Another way that is like that we kind of get for free that could be interesting is, for example, this one. I can go back to the decoration component, and if I add anything else on top of it, then it's gonna get the same treatment as the name. So just as a quick example, if I were to add like a circle down here, let's make it a little smaller. And if I leave it just as is, if I go to the front layer, you'll see that that circle, actually, let's make it red. Let's go back to the front layer. So you'll see that that circle gets the same treatment as the name, meaning it gets welded and scored if the score is selected. And even if I separate the pieces, then it will create the cutout and change it. So that would be like a very simple way to add additional decoration to this particular template, I think. For example, I was kind of looking at inspiration for Easter eggs with the Noun project app. Let's see here. I guess I need to do this business here. So in the Noun project app, I typed Easter egg, and so there were a lot of things to look at for like kind of simple decorations. And looking at these, I actually found one that had a cross, I guess, to make it sort of more religious. And so that gave me this idea that instead of having, say, a circle, let's go back to the decoration. Like instead of having a circle, I could have like a cross right there. And the way I could make a cross is again with the pen tool. I'm just gonna create a vertical line. When I'm done, I'm gonna hit V. So I'm done with creating that path. And then I'm gonna create a cross here. Just another vertical line. And I wanna center it. So I'm gonna grab it from the center and place it there. It's hard to see right now, but if I select both of those lines and I apply this modifier called outline stroke, with outline stroke you get this thing for free, which is it outlines the stroke, but it also joins it, and so I have that right there, that kind of funky cross with my outline stroke. Let's make it red too. And then if I go look at the front layer, then that one also gets the same treatment, where it gets the kind of Weld and Score. So I think that kind of gives you a lot of like flexibility, ways to play with this particular thing. Maybe I don't know, that cross might be too big. I can double click into it and change the path. Yeah, that's a more reasonable cross. So yeah, I think this kind of gives you ideas. You can come in and change the decoration. I didn't kind of implement it. I'm going to delete the cross for now. I didn't fully implement this kind of change of decorations, but like the idea here is that if I hide one and I show the other one, so I can say go back to the straight lines, then that should change that. I could add, I could go ahead and add a new parameter that has a selection box. I don't think I have time to do that right now, but my idea is to be able to empower you to make more changes to this template, to find like different decorations or different ideas for like, adding things to it so you can make it your own. And so this particular project is just going to be like a starting point for you to do that. And I'm going to be publishing it here in a few minutes. All right, I think that brings this to half an hour. Thanks again for coming. I will see you in the next one. And please post pictures of all those Easter eggs you'll be making. All right, bye.